Hello and welcome. So for this video, I want to kind of run down, finally, hopefully, my lineup of eyebrow gels that I have had a lot of interest in, and I think over time I've tried most of the ones that were on my bucket list to try, used them up, and decided definitive favorites of what I'll be purchasing going forward. So unless anything really exciting comes out on the market, I'm kind of, excuse me, locked and set in what I like for my brow gel purposes. So I've had a few videos on these before, and the ones that I want to include in this lineup of comparisons are on top of the Glossier Boy Brow, the freaking Benefit Make Me Brow, the e.l.f. Wow Brow. I want to add on the M Cosmetics Brow MICRO-FLUFF Sculpting Brow Cream, and the Black Brown Volumizing Pomade from Merit Beauty. And I'll include prices and colors of everything I use in the description box below. Yeah, I've used all of these up, so I also have insight on how long each bottle lasts. So let's just kind of go down the line, and I'll let you know what my favorites are that I'll be repurchasing in the future. So I don't have all the packaging in front of me anymore because I've used some of them up. But the first one I want to talk about is the Benefit Make Me Brow. And the first time I tried this, I was still in high school, and at the time it was a very standout product because I feel like there were less competitors on the market as far as other tinted brow gel products. For me, I've kind of touched on this before, but one struggle that I have with brow gels, and the reason why for a long time I only used brow pencils, is because my hair is black and my eyebrows are kind of sparse. So if a formula is too messy or too liquidy, it would often get on the skin around or in between my brows and be very finicky to clean up. So the Benefit Make Me Brow didn't do that at all. It added a bit of tint. It was very nice for every day. It was very hard to go overboard because it doesn't give too much color. It doesn't really give any volume. It doesn't give too much hold. It just doesn't really do anything crazy, but is also very, very easy to work with. I liked it a lot at the time, but my overall verdict now is that it's really not worth the money because there are so many brow gels that are as easy to use that I think can give you more. And it's $24, which is a lot considering brow gels are something that you use pretty regularly. So I think it would last me a few months of daily use, maybe close to a year of light use if I was only using it once in a while. Either way, not super worth it. A product that performed very similarly that I didn't mention at the beginning is I think it's called the Essence Gimme Brow. I'll double check on the name. But the one from Essence that is very similarly shaped as it's the Benefit Gimme Brow. I think it might be called Make Me Brow. But anyways, it has the same shaped wand as the Benefit one and the Glossier Boy Brow, the really small wand. I found this wand to always be very scratchy, which was not ideal. It's only $2 or $3, which is very, very cheap. It performed decently well in that it was also easy to use and didn't make a mess on my brows. It added color, but similarly, it didn't add much volume or hold, and it was just a small amount of color through my brows. Not really that satisfactory, at least for my levels, because my brows aren't that pigmented on their own, so I need just a little bit more oomph than either of those products were giving. So on to the Boy Brow. Still love that one. That's gonna be one that I think I'll repurchase basically forever. I don't have it on me right now, but it's on my list for when I make my next Glossier order. This was the product where I stopped using brow gels at all for a while, just kind of gave up on them. I was oh, brow pencils are easier. But after trying the Boy Brow, I loved it, and I just kept using brow gels basically ever since. I use the one in black. I think the wand is a great shape, very easy to work with, similar to the Essence and the Benefit, but this one just has a lot more punch to the formulation. It's a bit darker, it does a really good job of actually adding a little bit more volume to the fibers of my hair, and something unique about the Boy Brow from Glossier is that it adds a lot of definition, and it'll like separate my brow gels, but also like give them they'll separate my brow hairs, but also give them more like volume and hold. I can't hold it in like a crazy shape. I mostly just follow whatever my natural brow hair shape is, which works for me because I like how it looks. But what I like most about the Boy Brow is it's easy to use, and it gives the most like bold amount of definition to each individual like brow hair, and I really like how that looks most of the time. Some days I want a slightly softer brow than that, and for that my favorite product is the e.l.f. Wow Brow. This one is only $4 and it is just so nice, and I recommend it to everyone. It has a slightly bigger one, but it's not a problem. It's got a little bit of fibers in the formulation, but I never noticed like any fibers flaking away on my brows or anything. It just makes my brows look a little bit fluffier than they are naturally. It's so easy to apply. I would like never mess this up at all because the Boy Brow formula is, especially when you first buy it, it's a little bit more wet. It does have that like extra oomph to it. It is possible for me to kind of mess it up, and then that's annoying. It doesn't happen that often. It doesn't happen as much as like brow gels that I just refuse to use. So I still like it, but with the e.l.f. Wow Brow, I pretty much never mess it up. I could apply with no mirrors, and it just gives it gives a much softer look overall, in my opinion, than the Boy Brow. And so for a daily basis, that's what I reached for a lot, and I reached for it for like exclusively that brow product for, I want to say 4 or 5 months, and then it ran dry. So that's like the biggest downfall, is that it doesn't last very long, but luckily it doesn't cost too much. And in comparison, what makes me still inclined to buy the Boy Brow, despite its like slightly more expensive price tag, is that my one tube of Boy Brow lasted me, I think, like, it's a little gross, but probably close to 2 years, which is a little wild. So I find that very impressive because there was a time where I was using just the Boy Brow pretty much every day. So that definitely makes me feel like the price tag is more justifiable, at least for me, and I really like the effect on my brows. So between the Wow Brow and the Boy Brow, I feel like those are the two brow gels that I'll opt to pretty much always have in my makeup collection. The next one that I tried is the M Cosmetics MICRO-FLUFF Sculpting Brow Cream, and I waited a while to get my hands on this because I really wanted to try the color Universal Taupe. I don't know, on their website they had like other East Asian models modeling this color, and I thought, oh, like maybe that'll work for me, and it's not always in stock. In any case, I don't like this overall. I had heard good reviews about this brow cream, and it just doesn't really work for me. I find the formula to not add enough color, has very little hold, pretty much no volume, and more importantly, it doesn't really apply very evenly all at once, and I find it finicky to work with because of that, and just too much hassle in comparison to something like, say, the Wow Brow, which just applies very evenly and smoothly all at once. And this is the only brow gel in this lineup of products that I have this like problem with, where I feel like it doesn't apply evenly enough. My brows are filled in now, but I'll apply it, and I feel like it'll cling on to wherever I have the most hair. So like it'll darken up here, in the back, and like here, but where it's sparse, it doesn't quite have enough hair to catch onto, and I'll have to go back and try and like just brush that area to get more color on them, which I find quite finicky. The spoolie shape is nice and small, easy to work with. I don't really have complaints about that. It just doesn't really work that well for me and my brows. I think this is a product that if I were to fill in with a pencil first and then go in and add just like a little bit more shape and color, sure, it works for that. But just in comparison to the other ones that I like, it doesn't really hold its own weight. It still costs, I think, quite a bit just for this one tube. Just very unimpressed with that one, especially because I had heard good reviews and waited a while to try and buy it. Would not recommend. And then finally, this is the Merit Volumizing Pomade. And this one is also $24, same price as the Benefit Gimme Brow, but I just think this one has much nicer like packaging and presentation. Like this one feels luxe, and it does have like a luxe price point, but the Benefit one does not feel luxe. So that's a small tidbit. I like this brow gel a lot. I thought I wouldn't like it at first because the spoolie is incredibly large. It's almost as big as like a mascara wand, and I thought that would be really messy. It also always pulls off a whole bunch of product at the top here, but it's never really been a problem for me. Because it's so large, I can fill in my brow very quickly. The overall effect it gives is somewhere in between the e.l.f. Wow Brow and the Glossier Boy Brow. It's a bit darker than the e.l.f. Wow Brow, but it's very easy to give a nice like fluffy, even brow look to my entire brow. Because it's so big, it fills in really quickly. So I've been really enjoying using this. I bought it, I want to say 4 months ago, and it's still lasting me strong, which I would assume because it just feels very large, but I think the actual amount of net product in here isn't anything crazy despite the packaging being so large. This doesn't quite make the cut for repurchasing. I like it a lot, and if I had to only use this like for the rest of my life, I wouldn't be mad. But just between having the Wow Brow and the Boy Brow, those two add enough. They do things that are like similar to this and add more versatility, and the total cost of both of those is $20 and this is $24. So I could just have 2 brow gels I like for less than the cost of this one. This one's just so expensive that I'm not motivated to repurchase this. But if this was in like the $10 to $15 price range, I would definitely recommend this a lot. It's still a very good one and worth trying out, but like my ranking of recommendations definitely goes e.l.f. Wow Brow because it's so accessible, very easy to work with, super cheap. Then either this or the Boy Brow, depending on like how much definition you want in your brow look or how fast you want to be able to fill your brow in. This one gives like a really nice fluffy filled in daily brow look, and you can achieve it very fast, but the Boy Brow you can get a little bit more of a dramatic-ish brow if that's what you want. So yeah, that's my breakdown, and if you have any favorites, well, like if you've heard all this and think, oh, you know, you should really try this, that's what would work for you, please let me know. I would be very interested too. But otherwise, I'm just gonna carry on, and after this goes up, I'm just gonna buy my Wow Brow and Boy Brow and, you know, live happily ever after. So, thanks for watching.